C-SPAN's live coverage continues here in Waterloo, Iowa. We are at LJ's Neighborhood Bar. As you can see, the former House Speaker, Republican presidential candidate Newt Gingrich, is wrapping up after about a 40-minute Q&A session, followed by a lengthy meet and greet, one of the final stops here on this Sunday. This is a neighborhood bar on the outskirts of Waterloo, Iowa. Our phone lines are open, 202-737-0001. That's our line for Republicans, and 202-737-0002 for Democrats. We do have a line set aside for those of you who live here in Iowa and many who may be participating in the caucuses on Tuesday. That number is 202-628-0205. I'm going to get to your calls in just a moment. I'm going to sit down here and talk to Linda and Laura. You're both from here in Iowa. First of all, where do you live?
Well, I live just about 2 miles down the road. I'm a retired teacher.
Why did you come out on this cold and somewhat snowy Sunday evening here in Waterloo?
I'm still trying to make my decision. I plan to caucus. Actually, when I hear Democrats say that we have such a weak field, I find we have a very strong field of opponents, and I am trying to make my choice as to which one is the best.
So the Des Moines Register poll this morning, which shows, and the Speaker referred to it, 41% of Iowa voters could still change their mind between now and Tuesday. You're part of that 41%?
Yes, I am.
As we continue our live coverage here from Waterloo, Iowa, good evening.
Steve, Joe McCutcheon, you're just great. The C-SPAN coverage is absolutely marvelous, and of course, you know I'm strongly for Mitt Romney. I think he's going to be elected. I think he'll be the greatest president in history, and I think, Steve, you see he's got the big mo, looks like, with Iowa, then he's got New Hampshire coming, so I feel like Mitt's going to get it and be the greatest president in history, Steve.
Waterloo, Iowa, which is where Michelle Bachmann is from. Let me just ask you, thanks for sticking around, by the way. This place was packed a short while ago, and now it's emptying out. What is your name and where do you live?
Will Spiker, Waterloo, Iowa.
And what did you hear tonight from the former House Speaker, and what did you think of the event?
It was a great event, and like as you said, tons of people came out. We packed this house. Really evident that everybody wants some change. Change is definitely needed, and looking at somebody with some experience this time, somebody with some knowledge of the how to do things. He's seen the right and the wrong way to do things, and really ready for something different this time around.
What was your sense, or is your sense, of the President's overall job approval and the job that he's doing as an Iowan for you personally?
For me personally, I definitely thumbs down. Of course, a little biased here being at a Newt get together, but definitely healthcare-wise, already seeing the increase with that and affecting me and my family in the pocketbook. So definitely, taxes all the way around, ready for somebody that actually has the experience, can implement the change in business, jobs, what we're looking for.
So what's going to happen here Tuesday in Waterloo?
I think it was just really exciting seeing how the community came together tonight. We saw Democrats here, independents, not just Republicans in the base. So I think there might be a surprise.
Great. Thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
You bet.
Sarah Letourneau is a New Hampshire native, and she's here today in Wolfboro. First of all, why did you come out this afternoon to hear the former House Speaker?
I like the town meetings. I try to go as many as I can, and I'm familiar with Newt Gingrich. I'm elderly, and I remember him. And I feel that town meetings are more informative than watching the debates, and I always get a lot out of town meetings, and I like to hear directly from the Speaker himself and other candidates.
Olson is a resident of New Hampshire, lives down the road in Hopkinton. First of all, will you be voting on Tuesday?
Absolutely.
And have you made up your mind?
I have.
Who are you voting for?
Newt Gingrich.
Why?
I think he's a man of bold ideas, and he doesn't equivocate, and he has a grasp of history that's important given the world we live in today, and his experience with the Reagan administration and dealing with difficult economic issues and bringing us out of that is important to me.
I ask you this because the previous two callers dealing with the personal and the public life of Newt Gingrich. Any concerns about his personal life?
I think in politics we can always criticize people for their individual lives, but if we looked at our own individual lives, I think we could find a lot to criticize ourselves about. And what's important to me is that I'm electing someone based on their policies and the principles that they articulate for our good government.
Walter Shapiro, who is a veteran of New Hampshire primary, the author of One Car Caravan, now writing for the New Republic and Yahoo News. You've been covering this process
This will be my 9th.
So since 1976.
79. I came here watching a fellow named Bush lose the 1980 primary, and I have come back every 4 years since. I love the New Hampshire primary. I just wish that it was not so truncated, because I really wish that there were more candidate events like the Gingrich event that we just saw right here, just in the sense that candidates answering questions, not planted questions from demonstrators, but sincere questions from voters trying to make up their mind, is the essence of the appeal of the New Hampshire primary. And I really worry that with too many flyby campaigns, it's being eroded.
I'm Sheriff Clarence Dupnik, D-U-P-N-I-K, Pima County Sheriff. I've been a police officer in this community for over 50 years, 30 of which has been as sheriff. And in my 50-some years, I have never been so shocked in my life as the events that happened today. This is not only a very sad day for Tucson and for the family, for the friends of all the victims of this horrendous, senseless, unbelievable crime. But it's a sad day for America.
Our prayers and thoughts are with all of them, all of their families. Congresswoman Gifford is a great patriotic American, a representative in Congress of a new generation of leaders, brilliant, patriotic. Her husband is the Navy captain who was on the Endeavour space flight. Her brother-in-law is in the space space right now, and so their commitment to our country is a great one. Congresswoman Giffords is a strong fighter, and the news as it goes by in the day has improved in terms of her condition. We're all very prayerful as we learn more. However, there is some loss of life, and for that I want all of you to join Congresswoman Barbara Lee and Congressman Garamendi for a moment of silence for those who have lost their lives, for their families, for the staff of Congresswoman Giffords, as well as for her family in terms of our hopes and prayers. But also, as I thank all of you, my constituents, let us join in prayer with Gabby Gifford's constituents in Arizona as well, who have suffered a terrible loss today.
As many of you are aware, earlier today, a number of people were shot in Tucson, Arizona, including several who were meeting at a supermarket with their Congresswoman, Gabrielle Giffords. We are still assembling all the facts, but we know that Representative Giffords was one of the victims. She is currently at a hospital in the area, and she is battling for her life. We also know that at least 5 people lost their lives in this tragedy. Among them were a federal judge, John Roll, who has served America's legal system for almost 40 years, and a young girl who was barely 9 years old. I've spoken to Arizona Governor Jan Brewer and offered the full resources of the federal government. The suspect is currently in custody, but we don't yet know what provoked this unspeakable act. A comprehensive investigation is currently underway, and at my direction, Director Bob Mueller is en route to Arizona to help coordinate these efforts.